The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And of course, it doesn't matter where you're at or I'm at. But I'm in the White House bunker here. As long as we're here at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So, what do we have? If you heard the update, a few things going on. I suspect by now we're all kind of in a holding pattern waiting for Walmart earnings in the morning. A lot of earnings are going to be in that retail vein this week. Okay, today's the 14th. Let's see. Really don't have much to probably talk about here. Of course, I guess we can bring the chart up. Go here with AMZN. Amazon did have a lower open on the, see if we can't get it out here, on news that, of course, they were going to be laying off some employees. And, of course, that's probably going to or match the amount of money that probably they don't get. But sales have been weaker for the last 6 or 9 months. Progressively, not that much, but progressively have been weaker for Amazon. We've come off a fairly large high of 146.57. That was the August 16th, 2022 high. Got down to 85.78. So we're back up into this area around $100. But, you know, is there a lot more there? Probably not until the interest rates start coming down, which will probably be a very long time, and or business starts to pick back up. I think they have been doing the same surveys that I've seen reported, and that is if you're making $200,000 or less, inflation's really started to hit you, especially if you're making $80,000 or less at your home. And people in those areas are drastically going to cut down on what they're going to spend for Christmas. I think that it'll be very interesting to see what Walmart says. I've noticed that Walmart itself and what it carries on its shelves, especially in the food aisle, has dramatically changed. They used to have a lot of Walmart brands. I forget what they call them. They've got their own name. Great value, something like that. And just interesting to not see them on the shelves because they're all out. People have been going to the unnamed brand products. But I went to one on Friday, tried to pick some stuff up. All their freezer section was wiped out and broke, and they were throwing all that food away, which is about half the store's food. I'm going to say about half of that was something in a freezer or something. So I went to the other one that's not too far another way and went into it and tried to pick some stuff up yesterday. Very interesting to see just how really people have attacked those lower price brands, which kind of tells me that people are kind of feeling the pinch from gasoline, rents are higher, a lot of other stuff. So I'm wondering, you don't have much movement here today. I think a lot of people were thinking that Amazon was going to do it. Question is, what does Walmart say in the morning, and what does Target say on Wednesday morning? So we could have a couple of days of bad hair days if they get too dour on the market. I think a lot of people are getting way out in front of the Fed not tightening as tight as they think they will. Of course, we're 20 some odd days away from the next meeting. I'll look that up during the break. But got a lot going on here, as we said in the newscast. Interesting to see OPEC reducing oil forecasts. They're saying that the country that's going to have the biggest downside next year is India. And, of course, Amazon, Disney, and other layoffs out there going to be fairly significant. Kind of interesting that they waited until after the elections. But what can you say? And other things going on. As I said, volume, not that we're just cresting 7 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated volume, which is kind of an average day. A lot of times got a little more. But my guess is the shorts are going to it kind of just blinked here. We haven't had a lot. Certainly the volume decreased in this run up over 4,000, and options have been through last Wednesday and through today pointing to a lower close on Friday. How low? My guess is we're probably going to see those options snap back into whatever the real forecast is going to be for Friday after Walmart announces, and that will probably take care of Target too. They'll paint the Target with the same paintbrushes for options that Walmart probably comes out. They're not always the same, but they tend to be similar enough. And I think that's about it. Let's do a little history. Then we'll get into some charts after the break.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2006, Microsoft releases its Zune media player intended to compete with Apple's iPod. Hailed by some as the iPod killer, the only killing done was by Microsoft less than 5 years later when it ended production of the Zune that no one ever bought, mostly because it had a poor interface, poor design, and poor value. It was interesting, but if you got all those three things, i.e. it wasn't great at really any of the stuff that it should be, you could buy one that was basically the same thing for half the price under a variety of other names. I'm trying to remember. I think I still have a couple of them in my junk box of old, dead electronics. But what we actually found out was that it's extremely important that you have somebody in tune with the market. They didn't have anybody back then. Of course, in 2012, Microsoft started their Surface brand of products for laptops and a lot of other computer portables and that kind of stuff. And it had problems to begin with. They finally fired somebody that fired really the person that was responsible that didn't have a good feel on it. Now they have the guy, and he's probably, if Microsoft was the shameless self-promoters that Apple were, would be a household name, as some over at Apple have been. But his name is Panos, Panos. He may be a big CEO somewhere someday. So if you hear that name again, remember you heard it here first. We'll be back in a minute.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, we're going to look at a lot of stocks that may have had blow-off tops and how far they can pull back, especially if they've got some good signs. A lot of stocks have been on the north side of the 3x3 displaced moving average. I've kind of used the 3x3 instead of the 9-day, but they're fairly close. I just like the idea of seeing the 3 days out here in front. They also much better correlate to the way that I trade, at least on a daily basis. But you've been really above the 3x3, which is on one side and not really going against it since on AFLAC, AFL, the symbol if you're at home in Lutz. But that was the 13th of October. So you've really kind of gone straight up without really much of any pullbacks. You've got a gap at about $66. So at these levels, if you haven't sold now, you need to start looking about where these stocks could pull back to on just a normal pullback. FIA Limited. I'm not sure. What do these guys do? I better check as we do. Yeah, but he made a incredibly successful business. Somebody said Panos fired half the employees. Of course, they were totally unsuccessful with all the stuff that those guys did. It was probably fire all of them or fire half of them. But he's been a massive success since he's turned that company around, or at least that part of Microsoft around. Okay. What do we have here? Oh, anyway, I'm looking for what these guys do, and I got distracted. Medical Education Group in Brazil. Well, I could understand, but man, is it just me, or is Brazil's political climate unhealthy in these days? Anyway, looking at this one, we do have, or we're starting to see a great deal of those confluence levels setting up in Microsoft. And let's see. $13.94. Yeah, something like that, $13.85. So on these, of course, if you're new to the show or new to TFNN, confluence levels are basically two Fibonacci levels together. You start off with what they call the focus number, and then you take one big pullback, and then the last big top. And then if they're very close, between the 682 and the 618 and the 382 of the other, they'll make a very narrow band, and that is what I'm showing you, and this little arrow pointed out here. When those things are less than about 0.5%, they are very, very good to trade off of, much better than single Fibonacci levels, and they tend to go there a great deal. But if you were thinking, I'm not going to short less than a $30 stock, but if you were looking for places to pull back, and or if you're long now and worried about where your risk would be, it would be back down to $13.93. Anyway, we're going to go through a lot of these stocks that have been on kind of a one-way street higher, because these, a normal 50% retracement on any of these now is going to be rather significant. No sign yet on any pullback from American International Group, but just a 382 retracement takes you to 55.77 off of 61.16. So the question is, if you see any kind of topping signals, I mean, that's kind of the minimum you'd want to look at, 55.77. And that's why I kind of say sell when you can, not when you have to. Well, he actually did can a bunch of people, so that's why it was hard to know. Yeah, it's not that. It's I'm gonna have to think. I'll have to find a picture of the guy, but I think you're going to hear about him. He's been there for about 10 years, changing everything. Allegro Microsystems is another one, and again, a lot of these have. Let's turn this off here for a second so you can see it a little bit closer. A lot of these have fairly significant pullback areas, not too far, but if you're sitting on $29 today in Allegro Microsystems, you probably want to look at the 382 retracement. That takes you to 25.29 on the longer term, and you could go a little shorter if I can do this, and that would still be 25.52 if you take the closer low of October 13th and just do a 382. But a lot of these, again, if they go straight up, you got to worry about them going straight down for at least a little while. Amtech, not a real good signal here, but probably somewhere between 134 and 130. Let's see what else we have here. Amphenol, I think. Ameriprise Financial. Okay. You've got kind of a little bit of a topping sign here. It's not beautiful, but even on that one, a standard retracement is back to about 305 and a penny off of 339. You're already in the area of 325 on this. So again, problematic. You got to know where you're pulling back. We'll just try to do as many as we can to see where these things could go. AutoNation, let's go a little bit farther forward here. Okay, so same thing. AutoNation has come off significantly. It's actually done a 618 retracement up to 120. Is that 120.04? I think it's 120.04, and gotten a couple of bucks above it. But today we haven't had much in the way of volume. In fact, The big volume was on Thursday. You got about 3/4 of that volume on Friday. And today we're doing about 1/3 of that volume you had all day on Thursday. So getting kind of in the nosebleed section, but when everybody's short, you get these massive moves, which also set up yet another option. I would be very suspect to think that AutoNation doesn't go back and retest its $94.92 low sometime next year. But, just a 382 retracement right now would take you to 111.81. And again, a lot of people thinking interest rates are going to go down. I don't think so. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we return, take a quick look. Just kind of hanging around. 12 points higher on the S&P cash. Again, pumping up the market into the Walmart announcement, I suspect, in the morning. We'll go through other earnings probably tomorrow. I wanted to go through a lot of these stocks and how far they could pull back. As you said in AutoNation, you got to think, somebody in the den actually did post it. I was going to say, I was going to get back to it. The next Fed meeting is December 13th and 14th. So, yeah, we're actually about 28 days away from the next Fed meeting. Anyway, we're just talking about this one, and you've done your 618, and now could you pull back to 111.81 on AutoNation? That's the bottom of that gap. That gap did have a lot of volume. You've got about 3 gaps right at about 113, though, maybe 112. And that's probably where support would come back in if the market starts to get a little weaker. Could everybody believe that they're going to quit raising rates by the 12th or 13th of December? I don't think so. I think a little momentary lapse of reason. What a great album by Pink Floyd, minus the one that we will not speak of. Anyway, Apollo Global Management Company, really pretty much through everything. More than likely, the resistance is at 67, and we haven't quite got there, so not a good example, other than the fact that it's another one that has gone pretty much straight higher. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see much in that one. We'll see what we have. A lot of these are small volume stocks. I know we've had a lot of people talk about this one. So on the way back up, this one does have a couple of very... Let's go back a little bit farther here, if I can. I think I need to go back here at least. There we go. You've got a couple of good levels to look at resistance going back higher in ARQQ. A lot of people, well, at least some have been playing it in the den. You might want to just jot these down in case we ever get anything going in the quantum computing part of the market other than big bounces like this. But 1250 and then 1818 are the next big levels on this one if it were to continue higher. Let's see what else we have here. These are good examples, especially if you're new to using Confluence. You can go to the YouTube archive and just stop it and look at the chart, since we're broadcasting in such glorious high resolution these days. Armor Residential REITs, just kind of a bounce off the lows, but it has been going up every day for a while. Ascendus Pharma, this one dropped the chalupa today. Been going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days in a row. And generally you get a little bit more of a warning. But again, in pharma, it's pretty much every day you wake up in heaven or hell. There's not a lot of in between. Let's see if we've got anything. Okay. A10 Networks, another good one. Again, these are all stocks that have done nothing but go higher. And when I mean higher, I mean kind of on a line straight higher for the most part. When we look at these, I like the pattern to short these from the Joe DiNapoli pattern, and that is that you have something like 10 or 15 days above a 3x3 displaced moving average. You get a close below it. You get a couple of closes above it, and then the next close below it. So there's kind of a little curlicue right up at the top of and finding really good positions to take shorts on markets that have gone dramatically the other way and are getting ready for some pullback. But you can kind of see this. We'll do the 9-day on this so you can see just the opposite side of this one, which is a traditional moving average. Same kind of thing. It just doesn't react quite as well as the 3x3, but it does give you the same kind of thing. If you want to just count the days on this one directly above a 9-day moving average, you have to go back to the 27th of September. Now, we're just kind of touching it today, and we bounced back up. But the idea is more than usually, I'm going to say 75% of the time, what you get is a couple days below it, you pop back up it, you get no volume, and then as soon as you see it start heading back down the other way, it's time to pull the trigger. And I mean in a big way. But that's A10 Networks. Now, again, I'm not shorting stocks below $30. It just happens to be this is a good working example. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And you can also put a message in the den. Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. The tide went out. Don't see much in that one. Let's take a look at this one. Here's a good example. Axon, A-X-O-N. Wax on, wax off. Okay, we'll go to the profile on this one. And see. Manufactures and sells conducted energy devices under the... this is the old taser. Give him the taser. Yeah. Fire. Taser. Anyway, yeah, what a nice ballistic move on this one. Let's go ahead and see what we have for retracements on it. Yeah, wouldn't be unsurprising on this one, but just on a basis of looking at this one, you've got a confluence range. It is fairly wide, so I wouldn't look at it, but it does kind of come in right at the bottom of this gap. And that gap was on what day? On the 9th of November. So you had a big gap. You had some decent volume in it. But that's probably going to be support. And guess what? 158.40 is going to be your 382 on the way back. And that would just be a normal pullback in a market that's still headed higher. So you don't have to be a bear to take advantage of a potential bearish setup. But these, what comes up is probably going to come back down. But can't imagine that taser business is that great all the time. I think you kind of buy one and you keep it. Maybe cops are starting to throw them away, but I doubt it. Okay, not much in this one. Let's see the next one. And see, okay, AstraZeneca on this one. Okay, that's a kind of. We have a good question that I got, and I'm going to answer it after we come after the bell. Really doesn't have that much to do with the stock market per se, but being in the stock market. So we'll answer that when we return.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And I had a person ask me what happens on the bankruptcy and the exchange for Bitcoin. And I have no idea what the laws are in the Bahamas. But from experience, which generally this kind of experience you're not ever happy about, if you get money back from a company that claims bankruptcy, did you know that if you get it within sometimes 90 or 180 days, that they can, the bankruptcy court will make you give it back? And thank God I ended up prevailing, but I had to hire an attorney to show that it was actually my money that they had. But this goes way back. And even in total frauds, it happens. I guess probably the biggest example of this that was ever in the papers was the what's the guy's name? He died last year in prison. I'm having a thought. Anyway, the biggest fraud ever. Yeah, Bernie Madoff. Thank you. Anyway, that was going bankrupt, and he asked and got a couple $1 million out of it. Kevin Bacon, the movie actress and actor, and his wife. I guess she's an actress too. I really liked her in The Closer. But I don't know if she's done other stuff. I've seen her in a few movies, but it doesn't seem like she does a whole lot. Anyway, neither here nor there, but I really like The Closer. Anyway, Kevin Bacon was involved in it, and a bunch of people told him that the thing was blowing up. So he had like $25 million with Bernie. And they took $2 million out, and of course he lost the rest of it. And the bankruptcy judge made him give back the $2 million he got because it was within like 60 or 90 days of when the whole thing hit the fan. So don't be surprised if you had anything to do with these guys, that other people trying to get their cash back, since this company is claiming bankruptcy. You can be kind of on the hook if you got money out just in time too. So if you got it back probably 6 months ago, not a big deal. But this is why it's so important for markets to have some kind of backing. I make a lot of jokes about I want my currency back with nuclear weapons, but it's not that much of a joke. Especially here in the United States, each account from a different broker should be insured for about $250,000 worth of loss. Even if you want to extend that with the same broker, you can do that by having both you and your spouse sign on. That would get you up to $500,000. If you had more money than that, I probably wouldn't put a great deal of it at the same bunch. I'd start splitting it up, because at least if you have it. Now, if you don't want to split it up, we had the FINRA guy on one day, and I think the insurance is infinitesimal. I think it's like 0.25% for all the money you have out there. Probably not a bad idea to get it insured, and that way you're not going to get it back out. But if you're on some kind of fly-by-night exchange for Bitcoin, which is dubious at best, and you were smart enough to get it out, don't be surprised if other folks that took it on the chin, that can afford a lot more money for lawyers, don't go trolling for you and trying to get some of that back if you were smart enough to get out early. But just a thought on investing in things that the SEC and the U.S. government don't really put their papal blessing on. Early payouts, and this happens all the time when business to business happens. They can say that that wasn't something that they should do. And even when you get your cash from somebody so you'll give them the next shipment, you could lose both. You could lose whatever you give them that day, and the bank can make you give back the money that they gave to you for the last shipment if it's in worth a certain amount of days. So just be careful, know what you're doing, and make sure that you spread those accounts out if you're not going to get additional insurance and you got wads of cash. No, I've decided to take all my money and put it in alpacas, the huggable investment. Anyway, 877-927-6648. We're going to go back through some of these others, but just keep an eye on it. Okay. AstraZeneca. Oh, we looked at that. Okay. BA. Well, we're looking at this one. Certainly a huge rise higher. The biggest problem these guys have is getting Congress or the FAA to up the age restriction for pilots in the U.S. from 65 to 67, so that we can, as a lot of these pilots are gaining experience, we'll have enough pilots to actually put in. But you're looking fairly interesting up here on Boeing. My issue would be, where is support on this? And let's take a look, make this back to the displaced moving average. You probably don't have a lot more in this, I think, before the end of the year. And the thing would be that you start fooling around and running into the 3x3 displaced moving average. But even if you did that, just the first 382, retracement would be back to 157.04. There's not a lot of good here. You do have support at about 172. But just be advised and know your risk parameters. If you're holding on for the last $2 and you bought this thing back at $120.99, what was your plan when you got into this thing? Did you think you were ever going to sell it? After the big move on Thursday, did you sell it? Are you going to put in at least a sliding stop on this so that you have something out there? I'd actually put in a hard stop, but pigs, both bulls and bears make money. Pigs get slaughtered. Just a thought out there. Bank of America right up to what is kind of a big choking resistance level. And of course, the thought here would be interest rates are going up, so this thing's only going to go up. So which one is telling the truth out here? For Bank of America, are interest rates just going higher? We'll be able to charge people that have our credit cards more money? Or is this where the Fed actually is going to let off the pedal a little? I don't believe so. That's hanging at the highs. Doesn't really have anything other than going up to the 618 retracement of the move from 44.08 all the way down to $29.31 on October 13th. So you're at probably what should be significant resistance. If you break higher, that's probably telling you that interest rates are not going lower. And the Fed probably won't let off the pedal much at all. When we come back, we'll look at a few more before we wrap up the show.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we get ready to close up the day here, we're going to look at a few. Home Depot, of course, that's tomorrow morning along with Walmart. It hadn't quite made its way back up to the previous high on August 16th, but it's trying. It's hard to say around here because of the hurricanes and the business that we have. But, maybe somebody's got a better idea on that one on the chart. It looks like it's pushing back up there, but looks tough. Of course, we've got also Walmart. And, of course, this thing has just gone right back up, filled almost all the gap. It's hanging out right here. It's hard to see, at least for my local Walmart, that it's doing any more business. It looks like it's under price pressure. And, of course, on Wednesday morning, we've got Target. It hasn't done quite as well as Walmart in coming up and filling the gap. That was pretty horrific back on the 18th of May. This has really just kind of come back and filled the lower part of that. Maybe there's too many people short in the short term, but none of these really jump out at me as having a big long-term future for Christmas, but I could be wrong. Lowe's also the other one on Wednesday morning. It's back up into the resistance levels. You had a lot of volume and a push back higher. And, of course, a lot of this is front running already So if they do have something good, maybe there's not that much upside to it. I'm fairly bearish, but I haven't gotten any signal that tells me that I should go short. But my guess is we're probably going to see that in the next couple of days. Not exactly sure if it's all the retail that we have in the next couple of days, but more than likely I suspect that is. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. Hang on for Tom O'Brien to wrap up the day.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to